supper.
Junk food 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 supper.
Junk food
Junk
supper.
food supper.
Junk food supper.
Junk food supper.
Junk food supper.
Junk food supper. Junk food supper.
Welcome to Junk Food Supper. This is the podcast where pretty much every week we get together to talk about weirdo movies and TV shows and all kinds of other things. I am Parker, joined by Sean Byron in LA. Sean Byron, how are you?
Hey, what's going on, Mr. Bowman?
Nothing much. I've had a ponderous week. We were talking a little bit before recording. I don't know what to do with myself now that we've seen all of the Twin Peaks. I don't know what to do anymore.
I think there's nothing left to do but ponder. So you're doing everything correctly.
I think so. I feel like I gotta wait 25 more years to find out if any more gum is gonna come back in style.
Yeah, well, just sit there and ponder, I guess. Head on over to the Ponderosa Ranch. If you
have to.
Yeah.
I can't imagine what these original OG Twin Peaks heads were up to when the show went off the air in like 92. The weight that they had in front of them.
I know it is hard to imagine. And yeah, I got into the show, as I mentioned before, later in my life in my 20s via Netflix. But those OG heads who had to wait the whole time, I don't know what they were thinking. I guess they were just pondering Nadine's drapes the entire time.
Yeah, sitting around thinking about why Josie turned into a desk or whatever.
I'm still thinking about it.
I stopped thinking, that aspect I stopped thinking about as soon as it happened. I don't want to think about that at all, but all the other aspects of Twin Peaks, I'll sit and ponder for a while.
I think that there is a chance still, maybe on your fourth or fifth rewatch of the entire season 2, that you're going to become a huge Josie fan.
Do you have that drop of Kevin saying, no? That would be a good one at this point.
No.
That's Josie's the least good character, aside from James, of course. But
no, James has always been cool. We know this about James.
He's kind of cool, I guess.
He's so cool that he couldn't even be the savior of Twin Peaks. It had to be his buddy that we barely knew.
Mm-hmm. James actually somehow, the guy who plays James, I think it's the guy who plays James. Somebody from Twin Peaks. I think it's James. Is in my top-rated actors Letterboxd list. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, because of I think it's him. Maybe it's somebody else.
Because of Fire Walk with Me and what? Vibes? Was that the movie he was in with Christina Applegate?
I think so. Well, because of Fire Walk with Me, The Return, and The Pilot, all those things are on Letterboxd. And also, I think he was in Starship Troopers.
Okay. All right.
But anyway, I feel like that's ironic. No one else. No Jack Nance. No Ray Wise. Just him.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. No Kyle MacLachlan.
Yeah.
Not even David Lynch as an actor.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Because I would think anything that Lynch appears in as an actor, those tend to be the things that you like the most.
That's true. He may very well be my favorite actor. I wonder why he's not on the list. I bet there's like some documentary he's in that I didn't like or something.
Oh, yeah. You probably gave 1 star to my Jack Nance documentary just to spite me.
Oh, no. I gave it some decent stars. I might bump it up just to get David Lynch on that list. Yeah. I might toy around with the ratings.
I think it's the only way to restore balance to the universe.
I think so. It's the least I can do for David Lynch after all he's done for me.
Yeah. You do like him now.
I like him more than most everybody else. I like David Lynch. Like the average person on the street, I like David Lynch more than that person does. I can confidently say that.
I would love to know the approval ratings, actually. If you polled the public, with some margin of error, but what is the David Lynch approval rating?
That's a good question. I mean, I feel like it's like very high among the people in our normal circles, like film dorks, very high there. But I wonder, if you went to like a Blockbuster in 1998, what would those people think about Lynch? Or like if you're like polled some people at like a supermarket or something, like how do they feel about David Lynch?
Yeah, because it's not like he's a new phenomenon. At this point, people have had 50 years or whatever since Eraserhead to figure out their thoughts on the guy. So it's not like it's just us talking about it. I'm sure like our parents even probably have an opinion on David Lynch. Maybe. I don't know. Who knows? I'm guessing my
Yeah.
dad must have seen Dune or something at some point.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Dune, I think that's what has tanked my David Lynch as an actor rating on Letterboxd because he's in that as Spice Miner.
Oh,
So
I forgot that.
and he's in Inland Empire, so yeah. The ratings are
Inland
never coming
Empire,
back. From that.
actually, unlike Josie, I do maintain you might like someday. I think I might like it someday. That's a movie that I'm still struggling with because it looks so bad.
Yeah,
But some of that, fan analysis that's been cropping up in the past few years that I've stumbled into for Inland, it starts to make the movie seem kind of cool. I don't know, like it's very layered, and a lot of it actually makes sense in a way that I was kind of ignorant to.
yeah. I mean, that's possible. I remember it being a lot like the Bret Easton Ellis book Glamorama, which is like my favorite book. Um, so it's possible that I could like that one. I feel like Mulholland Drive's the one that I'll probably like, but the rest I probably won't ever like. I don't think. Maybe Blue Velvet, maybe, but I'll never like Wild at Heart. I
I don't
promise you
know.
that.
I don't know about these things. That's probably got the most overlap with Twin Peaks, having been shot at the same time as Twin Peaks and featuring a lot of actors from it.
Possibly. Possibly. All right. Meet me back here in 25 years. We'll see how much I like Wild at Heart.
All right. I think I can wait that long.
But what about you? What have you been up to this week?
Oh, not a whole lot. I guess really the only notable thing is I went to the UCB theater for the first time in several years to see some stand-up comedy. Saw Brent Weinbach taping his new hour special, and he was hilarious as I expected him to be. And it's just cool to be back at the UCB. Like I said, hadn't been there for a long time. They were kind of shut down for a while, like even pre-pandemic. There were like, I think some financial issues and maybe some other issues that caused the place to close down. But thankfully, post-pandemic, they were able to, I think, get some new investors maybe, or however the hell they did it. They opened it back up and it's exactly the same as it's always been, which is great. Just a very bare bones, stripped down 99 seat theater with black walls and a low ceiling and a lot of laughs.
That sounds fun. Did they used to have two theaters in LA, or was it New
Yeah.
York that had two of them?
Yeah, well, they had two in New York and then they had two in LA as well. They had the Sunset one, which was the second one to open. That's closed now. It was never a good venue, in my opinion. Like the building was kind of in a weird place. The neighborhood was weird. Like you didn't really want to be outside the building. And then the building itself was just not set up for comedy. It had high ceilings, like the shape of the room was kind of awkward. So that's gone, and now it's back to just Franklin, which is the OG one, which is really all you need.
Okay. Yeah. I went to one of the New York ones a long time ago, and it was really fun. And I got a shirt, which was my favorite shirt for the longest time. It was like just the logo. And now it's like just tattered. It's like basically just like strips of fabric, so I can't really wear it anymore. But I try to. I try to wear it around the house. It's a good
You
one.
gotta treasure that like it's a Shroud of Turin or something. You know what I mean? I've got T-shirts like that where it's like there's no chance in my entire life I will ever be able to wear this again. It's got a million holes in it. The armpits are like rock hard. You know what I mean? They've crusted
Yeah.
over.
Uh-huh.
I ain't wearing this shit, but I also can't throw it away. I guess I'm dreaming that maybe someday I might take some scissors to it and make a cool back patch or something, but I'm not a back patch guy, so I don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about.
Yeah. I was thinking of like framing some of my old shirts like that I'm never gonna wear, but that I can't get rid of. I think that might be the move. I've got my one vest, but it's got a Spookies back patch, and I'm not replacing Spookies with anything.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like you're going to open an Etsy store with new handcrafted back patches. That's not going to be your new line of business.
Probably not, but maybe.
You know what? If this podcasting game suffers, look into it, I guess. You know?
That's what I'll have to fall back on.
Yeah. If we can no longer pay all of our bills through this show, once that day happens,
that's when I'll have to start selling all my shirts. Although selling shirts is apparently a lucrative business.
It's insane. Are you looking at these Depop listings?
I've been looking around on eBay, and like some of my like old school like punk rock shirts are like, you know, like some of these bands like your Groovy Ghoulies, your Screeching Weasels, like some of these OG shirts I've had for a long time. They're going for like insane amounts of money on eBay, like $80 for like a 30-year-old t-shirt.
Yeah. Now, do you feel like you should be investing in t-shirts, or are you already doing that? Because I feel like I've definitely made a few t-shirt purchases in the past few years where I'm like, I may never wear this, and maybe I'm better off never wearing this because it could get me rich someday.
I definitely think that could be the case. I mean, I definitely think I could probably flip my kissing contest shirt on eBay for like a large sum of money.
Which one is it?
The No Pods, No Casters, the Sawyer shirt.
Oh, okay. Do you have any of those Saw fan shirts that were all the rage for a little bit?
I do. I have the Grandpa Conda and Shacktopus one.
Yeah, I've got that one. Yeah, that's a classic.
That's a good one. But yeah, I mean, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like, if I hang on to a bunch of the shirts I have now, some of them will probably be worth something at some point, judging by like just like the craziness involved in some of these shirts that I've had since like high school that are like so expensive. Like like Green Day shirts. Like there's no shortage of Green Day shirts in the world, and yet these vintage Green Day shirts are going for hundreds of dollars.
And we're not talking about like tour shirts that were purchased specifically at one show that it's like if you weren't there, you couldn't get it. We're just talking about like a shirt that you bought at like Tower Records or whatever in 1999.
Yeah, just normal ass shirts. Yeah. The reproductions of which you can now get at like Walmart for $7, but the originals are going for hundreds of dollars.
Yeah, it's wild times.
Yeah.
Well, if things ever get hard up, I guess I'll be unloading my collection of still sealed Joshi wrestling shirts from Japan that I picked up on my last trip. Got a couple Tam Nakanos and XL that I might unload.
Yeah, I think I might sell a few of my old Lookout Records shirts that I never wear. Even in like I mean, I guess maybe that's the beauty of selling some of these old shirts if you're into like punk rock is like in horrible condition with holes and all, they're going for a lot of money. I guess the punk rockers buying them want to spend huge amounts of dollars on that worn-in crust punk look, but
that's part of the aesthetic, you know?
Yeah, so guys like me, we can really cash in on this.
Yeah, just don't go and try and sell a Whitney Houston shirt that's missing half of its sleeve. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be punk rock.
I'm sure I could probably sell a Whitney Houston shirt in the Virtual Pros Music League. Those guys are always picking Whitney Houston anytime they can.
Oh, they love it over there.
Every playlist's got a Whitney Houston song.
Just Whitney Houston. We got a bunch of Tiffany tracks. I don't know what these boys are doing.
Mm-hmm. They're doing things weird in that league. They're picking the right songs in the right categories. I can't abide by that kind of thing.
It's the type of gameplay that you would expect from seasoned music league players, you know? Not like picking songs that are pertaining to rounds that aren't even happening at the current moment in time.
You would think that someone who's been in 16 music leagues would be able to pick the right song at this point, but nope, I fucked up.
Well, I still believe in you. I think you can recover from this probably, minus 15 point deficit at the moment?
Yeah, I'm working my way back. It was like minus 30 or something, 25, but I'm working my way back. I got this.
Yeah. Well, speaking of leagues, I'd like to speak about a league for a second.
Okay.
And the league that I'd like to speak about is the National Wrestling Conference.
I
You
don't
know about these
anything
guys?
I don't know anything about these guys.
Oh, you're not a big NWC fan?
No, I can't say that I am.
Man, I had you pegged for a huge fan of NWC, and in particular, its owner, T.C. Martin, who owned the company for its entire run, which was 1994 to 1998. They were a wrestling organization based out of Las Vegas, Nevada in the 90s. And it looks like in total they put on about 20 events across those 5 years. So not too many, but they did a few interesting matches, I think, throughout their brief run. And I thought it would be fun for our segment tonight to talk about one of them, to do like a little running commentary on this match that I stumbled across earlier today. I have not seen this match before, but it's got a couple of combatants that I think we're both big fans of. And I figured let's spend the next 24 minutes or whatever talking about this match.
Okay. I like the idea.
So the match in question is Sabu versus Cactus Jack in a desert death match. I don't know what that means. It sounds kind of cool. This took place at the NWC event on October 29th, 1994 at the Silver Nugget Pavilion in Vegas with a capacity crowd of 550. I don't know if they actually filled up the arena. I guess we'll take a look and see if we feel like they reached capacity. But an exciting card. This is the main event that we'll be watching in just a second. But coming into the main event, we had singles matches, including KGB versus Bobby Bradley, Tim Patterson versus the Volcano Kid, Billy Anderson versus The Thug. We all remember The Thug. Mm-hmm. Triple Question Mark and the Karate Kid versus Killer Cruz and Little Tokyo. We remember all of those guys. And there was also a singles match between Greg Valentine and Doink. So finally, people that we do know. But again, this is the main event and the most exciting match on the card by far. Cactus Jack versus Sabu in a desert death falls count anywhere match. So should be exciting. So I guess without further ado, I'm ready to hit play on this. If you're out there and you want to watch along, and I recommend you do, just go to YouTube and search for Sabu versus Cactus Jack Desert Death Match. It should come up. I think this is probably the only desert death match they ever did. So I guess, yeah, let's do it without further ado.
Okay.
On the count of 3. Ready. All right. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
It's total chaos.
I believe I've been to the Silver Nugget. I didn't know they were doing death matches in there.
Yeah, I don't know if they still are. I'm guessing they probably have retired their deathmatch programming by now. Yeah,
sadly. I feel like around this time there was just like all kinds of wrestling going on in Vegas, like Glow, the Gorgeous Ladies of Wrestling, like they filmed like at like the Sahara or something every week, and that was like not too far removed from this, a few years before this. And then there's that WrestleMania at Caesar's Palace. I think it was WrestleMania. I feel like
it makes sense. I mean, there's so much boxing going on in Vegas, right? It's like a similar thing to shoot. You probably get the same camera crews and stuff, you know?
Yeah. There's a long hiatus with no wrestling there. Now AEW is bringing it back. And I think WrestleMania is going to be there next year, maybe?
Yeah, well, with UFC owning WWE now, I think they're going to be running a lot of events there.
True. And with them building all those fucking arenas that are just ruining the fucking strip. I'm sure they have a lot of venues for that kind of thing now.
You don't like the Sphere?
Well, not the Sphere specifically, but like there's like those two, like the Oakland A's arena that's coming in, and then the basketball/football arena. Or maybe there's two different ones. Maybe there's a basketball one and a football one. But those are the arenas that have come in, and now you can't park for free anywhere. And it sucks.
Yeah, they fucked it up. Well, here's Cactus Jack coming down in the ring, 286 pounds, being billed from Truth or Consequence, New Mexico.
Yeah. A lot of little
And
kids and old people watching
yeah, I
the
gotta
match.
say, this Silver Nugget Arena looks like a cool place to see wrestling. You get all these old banquet chairs just kind of sloppily placed wherever they want to be. It seems like there's no real rhyme or reason to the rows.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, I feel like in the 90s, we're still kind of in that Vegas as an entertainment hub sort of heyday where, like, there's like all those variety shows that they filmed there in the 70s and stuff too. And it does seem like there was just more stuff in general being shot there back then.
Yeah. I mean, it's a really good place for like filming a live thing because you can just have somebody go out on the street and be like, hey, do you guys want to watch a live TV show? And people will be like, yeah, of course.
We got air conditioning.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you just put free tickets under, your hotel guest pillows or whatever. Like, there's a million ways to fill up this arena.
Yeah.
All right, Sabu is here, and I think we're ready for a historic match here.
I would imagine
I'm guessing
so.
these guys had competed against each other already in ECW and probably in Japan as well by 94, but I couldn't tell you for sure.
I would think so, yeah. I mean, I think Mick Foley went to WWE in like 95, I think, to be Mankind. So yeah, this is, or maybe even in 94, maybe it was like really soon after this. So yeah, I imagine they've probably already had a bunch of ECW matches.
Were you, like I was as a kid, just a huge fan of both these guys?
I was a huge fan of Mick Foley. My mom somehow, like, I think she was dating a guy who gave her the King of the Deathmatch tape, like a dubbed version of King of the Deathmatch. Like, she gave it to her to give to me and my brother, knowing that we were like wrestling fans, like as a way of like getting in good with her, I think. And me and my brother would just watch that like all the fucking time. Oh my God, I love these old ladies who are trying to get away from this suplex.
Oh, dude, they are terrified of this table spot.
These old ladies are like, oh my God, what's happening?
This is definitely a crowd of people who probably most of them are seeing wrestling for the first time, it looks like.
I would think so. But yeah, so I was a big fan of Cactus Jack, and I watched WCW with him. I remember like the storyline where he got amnesia was like a big deal for me when I was like a little kid. And then I loved him obviously when he became Mankind. But I think I got into ECW a little bit late. Like I think my brother was kind of into it, and I was just kind of like a WWE stan. So I was like, I don't want to check out this. And then one night, I caught it on like public access, like real late at night, like 2 a.m. or something. It came on my public access channel, and I think like Sabu and I think there was like a Sabu and Sandman match maybe. And I was just like, oh, okay, this is great. I was wrong the entire time. This rules.
But Sabu you found to be maybe a little bit too genocidal.
Definitely too homicidal, yeah.
Yeah. He's a maniac. It's weird to see these guys wrestling in this other promotion though. I don't know, it doesn't feel right.
Yeah, it feels weird without Joey Styles.
Yeah, no Joey Styles, there's no Bill Alfonso.
Yeah.
I don't know who the fuck this referee is, but he's getting out of the ring to like work the match, which is, I've never seen a ref do what this guy's doing. What the fuck are you doing, homeboy?
This is the most unorthodox ref I've ever seen.
Right? I mean, he exited the ring to like look for the pinfall. What?
Yeah, that's strange.
And he's still out there. I guess he's afraid of Sabu and Cactus. I guess that's the deal.
Oh, well, yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah,
scary,
I guess
man.
That's funny then. Cool little flip from Mr. Sabu.
Yeah.
And these ropes look real loose.
Yeah, they're flimsy.
Hopefully there's no Sabu, crotching himself on the rope or anything. We've got these old school chairs still in 94 that were not built with any sort of pro wrestling in mind.
Yeah.
Although this one is kind of an unusual design. It's got some kind of weird extra bar on the bottom that I don't normally see.
Yeah. It seems like they're using fairly cheap chairs here at the Silver Nugget.
Yeah. So the Silver Nugget, we're looking at what, downtown Vegas? We're in Old Town right now. Is that right?
I think it might be like off the strip somewhere. If it's the place I'm thinking of. I'm not totally sure. Yeah, I think the Silver Nugget, I think that's what it was called that I went to. It's sort of off strip.
Could
Like
it
sort
be
of
that
near
this
Stratosphere.
is maybe less of a casino and more of just like a gas station that's got some slot machines and a wrestling ring?
That very well could be.
Because I see like no semblance of, the kind of glitz and glamour you might associate with Vegas.
Yeah. Okay.
It's just a bare ass concrete floor,
Yeah. Okay. It's way north. It's between the Stratosphere, which is like the north end of the strip,
Yeah.
and downtown. So it's sort of in like
Okay.
that no man's land area.
Yeah, it's near Dino's Lounge, then. So one of the worst dive bars you'll ever experience, but kind of in a good way, depending on the night.
Yeah.
Once-
Looks like it's right next to an Arby's in current day 2024.
Once saw a man void his bowels at Dino's Lounge. It was pure red.
Oh my God.
It looked like red cough syrup. It was insane. These boys are spending a lot of time outside the ring. I mean, I know that falls count anywhere, but that does include the ring as well, guys.
They're freaking out these old people, though. So
I know.
I'm sure they're loving it.
You don't have to risk life and limb. Yeah, there's some real characters in this crowd. I like this old guy with the suspenders. He looks real pleased with the action. He's going to call up Dave Meltzer after this, give his report.
I love that these dudes are just like killing each other for these 300 people who don't really care that much.
Yeah, 300 old people mostly looking at the ceiling.
That's the beauty of these guys.
I mean, I feel like that King of the Deathmatch tournament in Japan was like pretty well attended, right? But like, a lot of those death matches that you see in Japan, it is like for just like, I don't know, like a 200 person crowd at Karakin Hall or whatever,
Yeah, true.
And you get to deal with Abdullah the Butcher, taking all your face off with a cheese grater just for that.
Yeah. Cactus Jack just tried to take an old man's cane to beat Sabu with, but the old man wouldn't give it up.
That's because the old man is trying to offer a stop sign to him instead. Yeah, this is a wild environment. Oh, you got this other fan who's, I don't know what he's saying to Cactus Jack, but he's trying to get involved in this match somehow.
Yeah.
Man, Sabu cannot stop doing moonsaults. He's like a human moonsault machine.
That's his whole thing.
He's pretty good at him, though.
Yeah. So who was your main ECW guy? Was it Sabu?
Well, at the time, like at this point in time, so this is probably like right around when I started watching ECW, was like as Cactus was leaving, like I saw a little bit of him, and then it was mostly the post-Cactus stuff. And I liked Shane Douglas. I don't know. I liked the Chris Candido, Shane Douglas, Tammy Sitch situation there. The franchise, Shane Douglas, I think he was going as at the time. And I always loved all the guys, Sabu, Taz, RVD. I love those RVD Jerry Lynn matches. Those were huge for me.
Yeah, yeah.
It's interesting now to kind of look at ECW in retrospect and see that, like, I think the kind of wrestling community opinion is that stuff is like super overrated and like wasn't that good. Like people who like critique wrestling or whatever. Like I think a lot of people have maybe turned on it, or they think those matches are just, sloppy fiascos, which I guess granted, most of the matches were just kind of Balls Mahoney slop fests, but at the time it did seem so revolutionary, when Sabu would bust out new maneuvers with a chair that I had never seen, like doing these Arabian face busters and shit like this. It was kind of mind blowing.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, especially, I mean, at the time, like, I mean, you'd switch over to WWE and it was Bret Hart putting a hammerlock on for 20 fucking minutes. And it's like, yeah, I would much rather watch Sabu hit a guy with a chair from, with his ass from the top rope.
Yeah, totally. And they were pretty inventive with the angles they were doing, people getting blinded and, bringing family members into it and these, kind of half shoot interviews or whatever, these work shoots or whatever, it seemed pretty revolutionary.
Yeah. I mean, Raven stole Sandman's kid. That was very intense.
And I feel like there's a lot of that stuff now in WWE where they're like always bringing in like, it's Rey Mysterio's mom is in the front row, or Cody Rhodes' mom is in the front row, and Jade Cargill's daughter got yelled at by another wrestler.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers, Sandman and Raven were there first. What's up with these ring steps we're looking at here? Are they made out of plywood? Painted blue?
Those are pretty janky. I like this ring photographer lady though. She's like right in the action. This lady with the mom jeans.
I do like that they adhered to the established pro wrestling blue color. This light shade of blue that we've all agreed represents pro wrestling.
Yeah. The color of the old steel cage.
Exactly, yeah. Yeah, and that the play set, the Jack's Toys playset or whatever. Mm-hmm. Man, I always wanted that as a kid. I had a ring, actually, but I didn't have the steel cage attachment.
I had a little ring that had a steel cage with it. It was like for like tiny, tiny little wrestling guys, like not like probably like a third of the size of like a G.I. Joe. I had a set of for some reason. I think I had a girlfriend who got it for me or something because like the ring in the cage came with a little Cactus Jack and a little Chainsaw Charlie, aka Terry Funk. So it was really cool. So she got that for me. I probably still have it somewhere.
Sounds pretty sick. Well, I guess my question was answered before. This is not a gas station because we are now on the casino floor. Cactus and Sabu fought their way through seemingly all of the crowd, knocking over every person's chair individually in the process.
Yeah.
And now this whole grip of people are just running through a casino, causing pandemonium. And I would imagine people there just to gamble that day who didn't know there was a wrestling match happening might be like reaching for their handguns at the moment.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you just saw this kind of brawl in front of you with like a couple hundred people, you might be, grabbing for that gun.
These two very scarred up men.
Yeah. One of them clearly genocidal.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's fun, like this part because you can tell who like the ECW fans are because out of the 200 or 300 people in the audience, like those 25 guys followed them through the casino. Like those guys are fans.
Yeah, they knew. The old people were just like, when's the show coming back to us?
Yeah. I ain't chasing after these men.
Yeah. Well, we're 16 minutes into this match, and I would say neither man has an advantage at this point. It's been a rough and tumble brawl. They both look pretty well worn at this point.
Yeah, I agree.
Not more well worn than these fucking ropes, which look like they're going to fall out of the ring. Cactus still doing that maneuver that took his ear off, which I think he probably lost his ear by now, right?
Yeah. It happened already.
He's still doing that maneuver.
Yeah, it's a good one.
We all like it. So Sabu is he still competing? I know that he's alive. Like, I see him on YouTube
Yeah.
once in a while giving shoot interviews, and I never click on him because I'm kind of afraid of what Sabu might have to say and how that might color my opinion of the man. Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah. Speaking of getting an ear chopped
Yeah.
off.
Foley did the full bit now where he is hanging from those ropes trapped in him, a la Damian Priest with his ankle, but this is Foley with the side of his head.
Ah!
And then he just took a drop kick spot at the same time while being trapped. That's insane.
Yeah.
And this is after he lost the ear, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's got to be, I mean, painful. Like, you would imagine that probably, like, for years after having your ear ripped off, that whole area is going to be a little tender, I would think.
Yeah. He's a fearless guy. But I mean, maybe it's easier to get out of the ropes if you don't have that ear there anymore. Maybe it makes it easy.
Well, and who could blame him for wanting to take these kinds of risks for such a big sellout crowd at the Silver Nugget, you know? When you got this many eyeballs on you, you know, things get intense sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know who this guy in the yellow shirt is who's, like, yelling at the referee. Security guard or something?
Maybe a security guard.
And NWC is wild.
Yeah.
Nobody knew.
Ah!
Sabu's moonsault ends with him just taking a faceplant in the concrete. That's great.
Yeah. Just landing knees first into concrete.
That's maybe the weakest pin attempt I've ever seen by Cactus Jack on Sabu. The referee didn't even want to count it. It looked like...
Yeah. I think
the
referee got to 3 and, like, changed his mind.
I think Foley had to tell him to do that count. Oh, the classic elbow drop to the outside on top of a table, but mostly just injuring his own leg. Classic McFoley.
Yeah. But yeah,
there was a table spot at Forbidden Door this past weekend, and I don't remember which match it was in now, but there was a table spot. It was like a power bomb through a table or something, or a suplex through a table, where they just got so lucky on the table break. It was the most incredible table break I've ever seen, where, like, the pieces are flying in every direction, and it just looked incredible.
I think I might have seen that on Twitter.
Shout out to that table, because I feel like these days a lot of these table breaks look really bad, you know?
Yeah.
Tables look like they're made out of paper. They don't really shatter into pieces anymore. But yeah, these boys are still going at it. Looks like the pinfall attempts on the outside were fruitless. Now we're back in ring, doing battle with chairs. Sabu, though, you think he's still working? What do we think?
I don't think so. I think he was, like, they were doing, like, a lot of, like, ECW reunion matches, like, I guess, like, a few years ago. Like, I think Tommy Dreamer was putting on, like, these kind of, like, indie shows that were very reminiscent of ECW, and I think he worked some of those. I mean, that was probably, like, that was, like, pre-pandemic, maybe even a little earlier.
Well, looks like there's been a little bit of post-pandemic. 2 matches in 2021.
Okay.
And, like, 5 matches in 2020.
Okay. I'll take it.
But yeah, it's been a few years, so he's probably done. Which is for the better. I think, you know, he's sacrificed enough.
Yeah. And he's, like, deceptively old, I think. I mean, I think he's, like, even, like, older than a lot of the people he was in ECW with, I think. I think at one point I, like, learned how old he was, and I was just, like, shocked, like, because he doesn't look it.
Yeah, I wonder how old he is. It doesn't say on this page. Let's see. Oh, he's 59. So yeah, he's getting up there.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe he was older than that, but still pretty old.
But not in '94. This was his heyday. And we
Yeah.
can see why NWC wanted his talents.
Yeah.
Got a one-legged facebuster there on Mick Foley. Was that the fall?
What? I don't know.
I think
this is the
I think
worst
that was
referee
the
I've ever
fall.
seen.
And he's holding Sabu's arm up, it looks
Okay.
like, kind of barely. Referee's still outside of the ring, even though he just made the pinfall count. Which doesn't make any sense.
This is the worst referee ever.
But I think that was the fall then. Was that Arabian facebuster finish.
Yeah.
And, who could blame Cactus for not being able to kick out of that? It's a deadly maneuver, the likes of which had barely been seen up until this point.
Yeah.
Looks like we got a little bit of post-match selling that still has to occur.
Mm-hmm. Maybe some good sportsmanship here as well.
I would like to see a handshake, yeah.
You love to see it.
And I hope that it does not end with, a kick to the groin or something like this.
Oh, you love two guys just hugging after hurting each other. You love to see that. I hope nobody gets kicked in the nuts. Nobody gets kicked in the anus. Nothing like this.
No, just some good old hugs. Yeah, referee, that's the inside of the ring. That's where you're supposed to be this entire match, dude. Good job finally getting into it. Well, I don't know if the rest of this NWC event is on YouTube. I don't know if there's any other NWC stuff on YouTube. But this is on there, and I guess I'm glad that I saw the Desert Death Match. That little bit where they ran through the casino is kind of memorable.
Yeah, that's super fun. I wish they would have done more of that. Like, just run all the way through. Why not? Go out on the strip. Well, I mean, I guess they're not on the strip, but give me a pinfall attempt on the strip. Why not?
It is a little funny that the in the Falls Count Anywhere match, they did take my advice and they did the fall in ring.
Yeah.
I respect that, I guess. I don't think we saw a camel clutch in this match, though.
Nope, not one.
Kind of was looking forward to a camel clutch. Oh, Sabu's not done.
Okay.
Post handshake, it seemed like everything was cool between these two competitors. He's coming back to the ring now with a brand new table. And a towel, it looks like. I don't know what that towel's for. He didn't want to get the table dirty with sweat or something.
He might have stolen it from Taz. That's when he wears out to the ring.
What's that second flag that's not the American flag back there? Is that it's Nevada state flag, I'm guessing?
Could be. Kind of looks like the Australian flag.
It does, right? I don't think they're playing hockey in here, so it's not a Canadian flag.
Yeah. Oh, is he just going to dive through this table for no reason?
Oh, yeah, Sabu's just going to launch himself through the table for fun, I guess.
That's
how he
expresses. So you know he's suicidal.
Yeah. This is how the man expresses himself. This is his art form.
Ah, knees first. It always looks so painful when people moonsault knees first.
Well, he's got two knees. At this point in time, at least.
Yeah.
And that's how we'll go out, is on a anguished shot of Sabu in pain from his own stupid choice to jump through a table knees first at the end of the match.
I think Al Snow took that in the WWF at the time. WWF. I think he used to every once in a while would do a moonsault through an empty table like that. Maybe he owes Sabu a little bit of money. All
right, well, let's call up Al Snow after this and let's get retribution. Maybe pull both these guys out of retirement, rather than just sending a paycheck. Let's set up a match.
Yeah.
All right, well, that was the Desert Death Match. I hope you enjoyed it.
Indeed I did. I think I'm going to enjoy this guy's channel. He's got a lot of wrestling stuff.
There's a lot of good wrestling on YouTube for free. It's a wonderful time to be alive. There's this channel, King's Arc, it's called, and it's just like all Japan wrestling from like the 80s and 90s. Full matches, all kinds of good stuff.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Oh, it looks like this guy hasn't uploaded anything in 10 years, but outside of that, it's a good channel.
You know what? A lot of the best content on YouTube has actually been up there for decades.
Yeah. Seems like it. Well, speaking of decades.
Speaking of JF decades.
I feel like it's been decades since we've heard from some of the people out there in Junk Food Dinnerland. So let's talk to them via the voicemails, shall we?
Oh yeah, of course.
We've got a few. This first one, I believe, is from Peter from Portland, who missed Kevin. We recorded a little early last week, and Peter was upset in the Discord that he didn't make it onto the Kevin episode last week. So, what can you do? You know, sometimes we pull a switcheroo and record early. But let's check out what Peter has to say, and then never tell Kevin what he had to say.
Hey, Junk Food Dinner. It is Peter from Portland. Just calling to check in with you guys, tell you I love you. Looking forward to the show this week. I haven't watched Dinner in America yet, but I'm going to watch it before the episode drops. So looking forward to hearing your thoughts on that. Two quick notes for other listeners out there in the Junkieverse. The first one is last week, Brian from New York called in, and he made a mention that Watt drop that Sean has is like from Dom DeLuise or something like that. I didn't quite follow. But what is the source of that drop? That blew my mind, because if that is Dom DeLuise, I'm amazed. I legitimately all this time thought that Sean just clipped out like one of Parker's dogs barking in the background, and that was the source of that. And now if that's like a human man, I feel embarrassed for myself and for him. The other listener I wanted to give a shout out to is Mia Sweetman. There was something posted in the Discord a while ago. For those who don't know, it seems like maybe Mia's having a little bit of a difficult time and could use some support. There's a GoFundMe. And I would really encourage the other junkies to, do what you're able to support our comrade. She's awesome. She always livens up the junk mail section. And Mia, if you're listening to this, I hope you're doing really well. Sending lots of love and positive vibes your way. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Take care. And, here's hoping that we all have a really great summer.
Thank you, Peter. Dinner in America. I hope you got to see it. It's very good. I liked it quite a bit. And also, I agree that people should help out with Mia Sweetman if at all possible. Seems like they are going through a time.
Yeah. Definitely encourage people to check out the Discord and help out one of our good friends, Mia.
Yep. And now, what is the source of this drop? And we got a Shinji drop
now
over
tell
there?
Me, who was the source of this videotape?
You talking about Shinji drops?
Yeah, you got Shinji drops now?
It might be Shinji. Is it Shinji? I don't even know which dog it is, but yeah.
That one's Shinji, yeah. He makes a very weird bark with multiple syllables.
So the Shinji drop has been around for a long time, and there have been multiple times that I have tricked you into thinking that your dog was barking when it was just a Shinji drop.
What? Is that true?
Yeah. And I never revealed it until now. That's a Mr. Brian and I inside joke. So shout out to Mr. Brian in New York who requested that I deceive you with a Shinji drop. I think he requested Gonzo, but I like I said, I couldn't tell what dog I was clipping.
Yeah. Well, Gonzo's a little quieter. Shinji's, he does those weird barks. Well, Gonzo's not always a little quieter. If somebody knocks on the door, he'll bark for like 20 minutes. But I've been deceived. I thought
You
that
have been, yeah.
I thought that Shinji was just making noise the whole time I was doing podcasts. I didn't know.
And then this one is Dom DeLuise, and I'm pretty sure that I know where I took it from, which is I made a commercial for our Dom DeLuise tier on Patreon a long time ago. You guys probably remember the one where it sounds like Dom DeLuise is on a cooking show. That's an episode of Friday Night Surprise from 1988 with Dick Clark and Dom DeLuise doing like a cooking show type segment that I took all that stuff from. And I think that's where I got the what for Dom DeLuise. If not there, then it might have been from a movie that we did that had Dom DeLuise in it. But it is Dom DeLuise. I know that much.
I believe you.
And we all know where this drop comes from.
Okay.
Do we?
Oh, you don't know where this drop comes from?
Okay.
I mean, I feel like it just comes from
Okay.
from the podcast at this point, from hearing it so many times. What is the source of this drop?
Well, let me just say, it doesn't come from the woods. It comes from a wooded area.
Oh, Telly Savalas.
It's Telly Savalas telling his ghost story. Yeah.
I do love that ghost story.
Yeah, it's a pretty good one. If you like utility infielders for the Boston Red Sox.
I mean, who wouldn't?
Yeah. Very specifically, only that type of baseball player.
Speaking of baseball players, we got another voicemail. I'm not sure who this one is from, though. So let's check it out. Oh.
Junk food dinner. It's a and look, you keep talking about True Detective season 4 and keep asking what people think, and I don't know if I have what you would call a dissenting opinion because it is awful, but I will say, well, here's what happens: is I love True Detective season 1 as every rational, sane human being does, and I watched season 4, and it was exciting at first because it ties back into season 1 with this sort of Yellow King Carcosa spiral stuff, and Jodie is, she's really good. I can't say it's her best work, but she's really good. The other performers are decent, and it has moments of incredible imagery and ambiance, especially in the first couple episodes. And I really wanted to like it, and then just diminishing returns with each consecutive episode. And by episode 4, I was like, this is really not going well. And then by the time episode 8 finished, I just fucking hated it. I was just despised the entire season. And then I just rewatched season 1 again for the third time maybe, or fourth, and hoping that it might make me want to revisit season 4, at least the first. Bye.
Okay.
Well, sometimes you hit the wall with the voicemail limit, I think. But thank you, caller. When you said your name, Skyped out on us. There was a little glitch in the audio. Not sure if that was on your end or ours, but it happens. Did you catch who this was, Sean? Was it just me?
No, it glitched out for me as well. But I caught the main bulk of the voicemail, which I think he was saying that he loves True Detective season 4.
Yeah, absolute love for that season all the way through, every single episode. Very good, they said, which I don't agree with. I thought that season was very bad. Season 1's good though. You've never seen these? Is that right, Sean?
I saw season 1, which I loved, and I think I still will see season 4. I don't know. I'm not deterred. People can tell me all day long how bad this is. I don't even know why I ask for people's opinions.
That's rude. You got to give people's opinions. We need those expert opinions out there.
I guess, but it's not like it's gonna sway me in one direction or the other. I got my mind set on watching this True Detective season 4. The only thing stopping me, I'm too cheap to pay for HBO.
Well, they keep raising the prices on it.
Yeah. And downloading TV shows illegally, that's a lot of effort. I gotta get multiple torrents. I gotta tag all these files with their metadata individually. It's a lot more effort, Bowman, than just pirating a movie, you know?
That's true.
So why don't you just back off?
All right. Have it your way, Hotshot.
I'll get around to it when I can, okay, Bowman? Okay, everybody? I know you all want me to watch this thing in due time.
Well, we've got another voicemail. Maybe this person will also advise you on which True Detective seasons to watch. Here it is.
When I close my eyes, I think about being top 3 in musically, yeah. I hope you like the songs I submitted. I try to pick the best ones possible, but then sometimes Sean and Parker be downvoting the songs I pick. I guess they don't like the Aerosmith or the Limp Bizkit. So I search and search, and then I don't even know if the songs are even playable. 'Cause I don't want to be last place. I want to impress you guys. 'Cause I love Blink-182, and I hope you don't downvote that group.
I happen to be an opera fan.
Thank you for the song.
Beautiful, I would say. It's really kind of moving to hear those sentiments be expressed in such a, I don't know, like just a beautiful harmony, like a beautiful melody.
Yeah. I wish that someone would pick that song in Musical.ly because they'd get a lot of points.
Yeah. Well, next round is JFD caller submission round, so any songs submitted on the JFD voicemail line are eligible.
Mm-hmm.
I know there's going to be a big rush on all those low milk songs, but maybe, split yourself away from the pack with this choice.
Man, that AI low milk song that I made, that's a banger. I listen to it all the time.
You know what? It's proof alone that AI is coming for us and we should be afraid.
I do agree with that. I was watching YouTube, not to get into a whole thing before the segment break here. I was watching YouTube today, and there was an advertisement break, and they were advertising like a telescope or something like that, but they were using an AI Joe Rogan voice.
Oh, fuck.
And it was like, took me a minute. I was like, oh, that's weird that Joe Rogan is endorsing this product. But then it took me a minute, and I was like, oh, wait, no, that's AI. And I can't imagine how many people have been tricked thinking that Joe Rogan wants them to own this telescope and have bought this fucking thing. Like, I think AI is going to ruin all of our lives pretty soon.
It's getting close. I mean, it's already bad enough that when I'm listening to like a mainstream podcast, that it does seem like most of the advertisements now are read by robot voices, which, I mean, I guess the downside of that is only that voice actors are going to be homeless and further crowding the streets of Los Angeles. You know what I mean? But it does feel like, is there no room for like individuals to be creative and produce content and have skills and specialties? I don't know. Like it freaks me out. I hate it so much. And now that it's even celebrities like Joe Rogan are going to be homeless on the streets of LA, no thanks.
Yeah. They're going to be able to do whole ass Joe Rogan episodes without him.
Yeah, it's wild times.
Yeah.
That's why I'm against it. That's why I don't use AI to make songs that make fun of you. It's the only reason. It's not also that I'm lazy.
That song is celebratory. It's not making fun of anybody.
Fair enough.
Well, thank you, callers, for calling in.
Oh, yeah, and Kevin appreciated your calls as well. He heard all of them. He loved them. And he encourages you to call again.
No.
Kevin.
Come on, Kevin. If anybody else out there would like to call in, please do so by calling 347-746-JUNK. That's 347-746-5865. Or go to facebook.com/junkfooddinner and hit the call now button.
And when you do so, don't forget to make a sly reference to Little Squeezers.
Oh, yeah, that's the most important part.
We talked about this a couple weeks ago. We need you to expose Kevin to a sly announcement of Little Squeezers, don't draw attention to it. Just maybe in the background. Maybe you're having a conversation with us, but in the background of your call, there's another conversation in which somebody just casually references Little Squeezers.
Mm-hmm. Let's see what we can get away with here, guys. Come on. Kevin will be back in a couple weeks. We gotta get this going.
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I think we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to be talking about the movie Triangle. So stick around.
You know what I do when I have a bad dream? I close my eyes and I think of something nice.
So let's go sailing.
Wind's dropped out on us.
Get below deck now. Get the life jacket. Oh, thank God.
Hello? Where's everybody?
You enter a place you have never been.
I recognize this corridor.
Everything you see, you have seen before.
It's starting over again. That's what's going on. Everything that happened to you before. He's dead! Change the pattern. We changed the pattern and we're not trapped. Who are you?
Welcome back to Junk Food Supper. The movie we're talking about this week is Triangle from 2009. This is directed by Christopher Smith.
Wait, what?
Triangle from 2009?
Oh, no.
Did you watch a different movie?
I watched Triangle, the BBC television soap opera that was broadcast in the early 1980s that was set aboard a North Sea ferry that sailed from Felixstowe to Gothenburg and Gothenburg to Amsterdam. You know, the show where a third imaginary leg existed between Amsterdam and Felixstowe to justify the program's title, but was not operated by the ferry company?
What? Yeah, what kind of crazy bit are you doing? What kind of craziness is this?
It is a crazy bit.
You had me very worried for a minute.
You caught me.
Although, I think you could probably get away with it, though, because there are British people involved in the making of this, so they're probably quite similar.
Yeah, actually, I wonder it might have been an influence on this. It being a transatlantic type plot line here.
Very possible. This is, however, from 2009. This is directed by Christopher Smith. We last talked about Christopher Smith because he is the director of the movie Get Santa, which is your least favorite junk food dinner movie of all time.
It is, maybe. Yeah, I mean, certainly we can agree the least junk food dinnery movie that anyone's ever picked for the show.
It's in the conversation for sure.
It's a pretty short conversation.
But he's also done some other things that are more junk food dinnery. He did a horror comedy called Severance. He did kind of a slasher movie called Creep. He did a movie called Black Death, which I think is really good, about the Black Plague, and some other stuff. I think he mostly kind of works in television now. But yeah, he's an interesting.
He directed The Creep with John Waters.
He did, yeah.
And Severance with Adam Scott.
A different Severance. Neither his Severance nor that other Severance have gotten a sequel yet, though. Sadly, so.
Oh boy.
Probably never will. At this rate.
I'm calling it now. I think the second season of Severance is going to be great. I've got confidence in these guys.
I think it'll be very good. I just think it's not going to debut until that Gum We Like comes back in style.
Yeah. And I fear it may be the final swing that they take.
Yeah.
I mean, at this pace, everybody's going to be dead by the time they try and mount a third season.
I think so, yeah.
I mean, they did cast, like Chris Walken and a few other older people, right? So.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah, so this, getting back to Triangle, this is the third movie by Christopher Smith, and it's a movie that I saw, I think, a long time ago. I'm not sure what exactly attracted it to me. It has a really good poster, so I probably just saw that poster somewhere. And I loved
you've
it.
developed a lifelong hatred of rhombuses and other geometric shapes.
Yeah, I would hate to watch a movie about a rectangle.
Yeah.
I don't know any other shapes. An octagon? Fuck octagons.
No, dude, you're a triangle man through and through, you know? It's the most hardened geometric shape. That's what you've always told me, you know? You can't crush a triangle. It's so strong with those three sides. These are things that you always say to me.
I do talk about that a lot.
Yeah.
And yeah, so this movie stars Melissa George, who we also know from Mulholland Drive.
Yeah, who I'm guessing this director also knew from Mulholland Drive.
I would think so. This movie is very Lynchian, I feel like. That's why I wanted to do it after we wrapped up Twin Peaks. I feel like there's a lot of similar themes, visual motifs, things like that in Lynch's work that will appear here. Also, if we're probably going to spoil the hell out of this movie.
We have to, I think.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way that you could talk about this movie in any capacity without spoiling at least some things.
Let's just say this. This is a thriller movie. We can say that much. It's a genre thriller with an interesting premise. If you like genre thrillers, check it out. I'm sure you're going to give a good recommendation to this. I also am. So if you trust us, go see this before we spoil it. It's pretty easy to catch right now. It's streaming just about everywhere.
Yeah, I love this movie, so I would say check it out too. And it is everywhere. It's on Tubi and Crackle and like pretty much every streaming service for some reason. So
yeah, it's like 90 minutes long. Go check it out.
Yeah, go watch it and then come back to this because we're spoiling everything. So yeah, I wanted to pick it this week. It's very similar to what we've been talking about. The plot of this film is that Melissa George...
Not to spoil the Bookhouse Boys.
Well, yeah. I mean, I guess if you haven't watched Twin Peaks Season 3 or the Bookhouse Boys, come back after that too, I suppose. But yeah, so Melissa George, she plays a woman named Jess, who we see is dealing with her special needs son at the beginning of this. And she's like getting him ready and getting herself ready. She gets in a car with him. And sometime later, she's meeting up with friends to go on a boat ride. She's been invited by a guy who seems that she doesn't know too well, but is interested in her and she's interested in. he has invited her to go on a boat trip with a few of his friends and his boatman, I guess, who's played by Liam Hemsworth, the brother of Chris Hemsworth, aka Thor, and Dementis.
This is the guy that was in Hunger Games movies, I think, right?
Yeah. And
That's what
he's going to be the new Witcher.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, he's good. And yeah, so they go off on their little boat trip. They're in Florida. The movie takes place in Florida. So the triangle may be a reference to the Bermuda Triangle, as well as a few other things. They head off. Shortly after taking off on this boat trip, a storm comes in. There's a big kerfuffle. They capsize. One of their friends is swept away completely. The remaining few, there's like 5 of them in total, I think. I'm bad at math. And then the math will get trickier as it goes along. They're then sort of stranded, and then they're picked up by a huge boat that is called the Aeolus.
Like a cruise ship.
Huh?
It's like a cruise ship.
Yeah, it's like an oldie-timey cruise ship. It doesn't look like a Carnival cruise ship. It's looks like a cruise ship from like the 50s or something.
One of your old steam liners, perhaps.
Yeah. I know, like a lot of old cruise ships, like from like the Love Boat days, were just like repurposed ships from the Navy. Like they were like Army ships originally, and this I feel like is one of those. Like it has that feel to it. It's sturdy. Doesn't look fun or inviting necessarily.
Yeah, probably no diving boards or water slides on the main deck.
Yeah, most certainly. So they climb aboard. They think that they see somebody on the ship. Once they get on, though, there's nobody around. It's pretty much completely empty. And while they're searching around, they find somebody in a hood that is trying to shoot them and kill them. And
Jess there you are, you otaku son of a bitch.
Jess is trying to figure out who this might be. And from there, all right, so now we're into super serial spoilers. So get out of here if you've at least been interested in this movie.
Hopefully we enticed you with all this description of a woman getting on a boat.
Please believe us that it's worth watching. So Jess catches up with the killer, throws them overboard, and as the killer, it's all wrapped up. She thinks she's thrown this killer overboard. She looks over to the other side of the boat, and approaching is herself and her friends capsized on the original boat.
Oh my God.
I know. Doppelgangers. That's what we're doing here. We got doppelgangers. And then from there, we get this fun little time loop where Jess has to figure out why there's doppelgangers, why she's in a time loop. And it does this really great thing at this point, or a little bit later than this point, where we think that, I guess you would go in anticipating that this is just like a one-time loop where you're getting one pair of doppelgangers. But it turns out that there's another pair. It's an endless time loop, and at all times there's 3 sets of these people on the boat. And so you're having it's like a fun game of trying to figure out which people are from which group and at which point Jess is dealing with which people. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, but
it's pretty easy to tell because the second group, when they arrive, they all do have evil mustaches to distinguish them from the first group.
And the third group,
a weird choice, kind of undercut like the seriousness of the story.
The third group has all goatees. Which is
exactly.
They're truly evil. But it's great because we're always with the original Jess, so we never leave her. So we're seeing it unfold the way that she is seeing it unfold, which I think is really great, and it lends to a lot of rewatchability where you're kind of trying to figure out okay, if this guy was thrown over the rail of the ship at this point, then who did that? Which Jess was this? Who shot this guy at this point? Things like that. So I guess that's the basic gist. I'm sure we'll probably get into what happens further along into the story and get into some deeper bits of it. But I think this movie is just fucking wonderful. I think Melissa George is great. I love just watching this. Like this is like I have just turned to this movie right back on after finishing it before a few times probably. Like it's just so fun to kind of go back and see and trying to unravel, exactly where Jess would be at this point in time in the time loop and kind of why this is happening and to figure out. I don't know, just try to figure it out. It's a fun puzzle. And
in none of those rewatches, you were never prompted to maybe just watch the BBC television soap opera from the early 1980s about Felixstowe and Gothenburg?
No, not once. Man. Not one time. And there's a lot of scary stuff in here. Like when it first is becoming apparent that this is some sort of a weird time loop, like there's a scene where I think it's Jess stabs this girl that she's with, and the girl wanders off, and then Jess is like trying to track her down, and she goes up to this part of the ship, and she's like bleeding to death, and she crawls, and she's now crawling over like 20 other versions of herself who are all in various stages of bleeding to death or having bled to death. And it's the scariest fucking thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Horrifying. And there are a few scenes like that where like multiples of a thing appear, and then it's like you
like that necklace when it falls down the drain.
Yeah.
I think that's the first time you see something like that, and it's like, oh shit, this loop goes on forever.
Yeah, there's like 50 dead bodies or something and 50 necklaces. So this has been going on for a long time. And then there's one really impactful one at the end where you see a pile of dead birds where you think you're out of the loop at this point, and then it's revealed that you're not, and it's very harrowing. But
dude, we said we weren't going to spoil this.
My mistake.
You motherfucker.
Basically everything's a spoiler. Even just the casting of Melissa George. Even just me saying that it's Lynchian is a spoiler for everything.
You dirty motherfucker.
But I absolutely love this. Like I said, I think this is just a brilliant film. There's like a lot of movies like this that were coming out at the time, like a lot of time loop movies like Coherence and Plus One, Time Crimes. I think this is the best of them. And I don't know what was in the water at the time that fucking all these movies like this were coming out, but I love it. I love that it happened. But what do you think about this movie, Sean?
Well, just to give a little bit more backstory before we get into my opinions of it, the show did run for 3 seasons before being canceled. They call it series on the BBC, but I call it seasons here in America. And it's still generally remembered as some of the most mockable British television ever produced. This is from the intro paragraph on Wikipedia, by the way, which is just all shitting on this show. This whole Wikipedia article is just apparently written for no other purpose than to shit on Triangle, the BBC soap opera. Because it says the scripts involved cliched relationships and stilted dialogue, making the show the butt of several jokes, in particular on Terry Wogan's morning Radio 2 program, which caused some embarrassment to the BBC. So,
okay.
I think that's
He's
important.
got his own M.O. Modus operandi.
Very important that we all know that about the other Triangle. But yeah, no, this is a movie that I first saw in the year 2011, according to Letterboxd. And I think that I heard about this movie first through a website that no longer exists that was called Twitch Film, that I used to read a lot back in the day. It was like genre film news coverage, kind of like an Ain't It Cool News sort of a thing, but without Harry Knowles. That was also very like Asian film focused. They had like a lot of like news about what was going on in Asian cinema at the time. So it was a good resource back then. Twitch Film, a site that I still think about, RIP, I guess. but I think I was maybe partially drawn to this movie after reading about it on Twitch Film simply because the guy who directed it shared a name with one of my coworkers. I was working with a guy named Christopher Smith at the time, and it was kind of amusing to me that there was this movie out there, and I could, imagine my friend directing it. And I watched it, and I enjoyed it back then. According to Letterboxd, I rewatched this in October of 2020, and I can't really tell you what prompted the rewatch. I'm guessing it just probably popped up on a streamer around then, and I decided to take the plunge again. And I enjoyed it then. And I got to say, now that it's been, I guess, 15 years since this movie came out, I'm kind of surprised there hasn't been a remake of this yet with like more famous people in it. Like, I think this could be a pretty easy slam dunk as a middle budgeted feature for like a streamer, especially if you attach, a couple famous names to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because I mean, yeah, the director's English, and I think that the money for this, and I think the money for this, I think, is Australian. Like, I think an Australian studio did it, and I think maybe it was even filmed in Australia. So you would think that with this being so far removed from being a Hollywood movie, that Hollywood would have remade it by now. But yeah, for some reason it hasn't happened.
Yeah, and it's pretty self-contained and seems like fairly achievable. Like you could pull this off and pull off like a little bit of like an upscaled version and still not spend a ton of money making it, I would think. But as it is, as this version is that exists, I think this is a very entertaining watch. Like you said, it's a decent looking movie. There's nothing extremely ambitious about the look of this movie, but it's very capably handled, I would say. Maybe the one downside is that kind of crummy looking CGI for the wide shots of the boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there are some scenes like that where they're very clearly like not on a boat, and the storm is a little bit iffy, but
yeah,
I mean, I don't know how else you would do a storm. But so I mean, I think I don't know what the budget was, but I think it wasn't very large. So I think they do well with what they have.
Yeah, it's a lower budget-ish, non-Hollywood production, and for the time period, I think it looks totally reasonable. Like it's never distracting or bad looking, and all the camera work is just fine. But again, I think that does allow for like maybe some other director to come in here and put his own stamp on it, because I don't think that Christopher Smith imbues this with anything aesthetically distinctive. I couldn't call out any shots that were like super memorable from just like a camera work perspective or anything like that. So I think there are ways in which this could be enhanced. But as it is, it's a cool story, and I like the way that it unfolds. They give you kind of just enough plot to keep you going. Arguably, that's maybe one of the issues that some people might have with Twin Peaks season 3 is that it doesn't do that. But they're always giving you, little bits of plot, and it moves quick enough that it's consistently entertaining. And then, even if it is dealing with dark subjects, there's something, I don't want to say like light about this, but it is kind of a breezy watch, despite the fact that there's a lot of heavy shit in this. And I think it is that thing that you mentioned where, even though this has kind of like a weird kind of, obviously it's got a time loop in it, but it's got this kind of weird structure to it. Even with that, it is still somehow like a very linear story. And I think that is because you stay with that one character the entire time. And it's kind of like, even if everything around her is shifting, you're with her the entire time and kind of on this same journey with her. And it's just very easy to watch this and get kind of swept up in her journey. And this even being the third time that I watched it, I still felt like I was swept up in that journey. So I was glad that you picked it. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I think that because you follow her, and because she always has very clear like goals and motivations from scene to scene, that the fact that they keep adding layers and layers of Back to the Future 2 onto it, you know? Like, it never gets confusing because you always know, okay, where would Jess, and Jess needs to get to such and such room to do such and such thing. Like, that stuff, like, is always very clear. Like, yeah, like the little parts, like the immediate stuff is always very clear. So even if you're like lost in, oh my God, why is there 3 of Liam Hemsworth? You know, you know, like the point A to B. So it's easy to keep track of.
Which I think is impressive given that most of this movie, you are just with this one character who is not really speaking too much. I mean, it's not like she's like giving a ton of exposition to the other characters to explain what she's doing. I mean, once in a while you get like, oh, here's my objective, I have to go do this. But a lot of times you're on that journey and you're kind of inferring things at the same time that she is. And I thought it was pretty smart in the way that it was able to kind of convey that journey without having to tell me exactly what she was doing at all times, you know?
Yeah. Like they do a lot of like just visual storytelling. Like she finds that locker full of notes that say like, you have to kill them, you know? So like, rather than her just saying it out loud, like, oh, should I kill these people? It's like, yeah, she finds the notes and, there's stuff like that where it's just not her like doing a voiceover or anything cheesy like that. It's, they give you the information. And like, rather than, you know, like the scene with the one girl who goes out to die on the ship and there's like 40 of her, rather than just be like, oh my God, how are there so many of you? Like, it just shows you like, there's 40 dead bodies of the same person. Like nobody has a conversation about it. It just shows you and lets you figure it out when Jess is figuring it out. It's really good like that.
Yeah, and on top of that stuff, there's also like nice little bits of foreshadowing here and there. Like in the opening, you know, even before they get to the boat, she's just at home and the kid's playing with some toys, and you see that there's a toy boat that's been capsized in the little wading pool that he's playing with. Mm-hmm. You know, fun little bits like that. So, I like this movie a lot. I like the David Lynchian aspects of it. I think there's some David Lynch style sound design in this. A lot of good ambient noise there on the cruise ship. Some of the shots in this did remind me a little bit of Mulholland Drive and Lost Highway, especially the shots like in the theater felt kind of Mulholland Drive-y. I mean, I guess my only real complaints beyond like the CG for the boat and the wide shots, which is not a huge complaint, would be on occasion you get a line of dialogue from a character here or there that feels a little bit on the nose, where they'll be just kind of randomly quoting Sisyphus or whatever, and you're like, okay, I get it. And other than that, I mean, I mentioned before, like, there's no real exciting actors in this. Like, I think you could maybe remake this with some big names, and then that might make it even better. And not that anybody in this does a bad job. I think they're all capable actors in this, but there's nobody in this that gets me excited. You know, there's none of my favorite dudes are in this or anything, and that could jazz it up a little bit, I think. But yeah, overall, I like this movie. I have not that much to say about it because it's just kind of a really solidly made little time loop movie. I think counter to Twin Peaks, I don't think there is that much to be mined here by like repeatedly rewatching it. Like because there's not like a whole universe here or anything. Like there's not that much lore or anything like outside of the events of the movie, but that's fine. I don't need every movie to be something that I'm going to be obsessively poring over for decades. Sometimes you just need like a efficient little thriller with a time loop angle, and this is definitely that.
Yeah. I mean, I think on rewatches, you get that stuff, like I said, where it's like, you kind of go, oh, okay, so that's why she had the gun at this point in time because of X, Y, and Z. Like, it's not like a Twin Peaks where you can kind of, where like things are like so vague that you watch it and you know, can glean some theories about what Heidi's doing or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like, it's not like that abstract. It's more like, oh, okay, now I know where these pieces go, like these puzzle pieces. Like, that makes more sense now. And so, like, when you're parsing out these multiple timelines. But you did bring up Sisyphus, so I did want to talk about that. For the majority of this movie's runtime, you could kind of chalk it up as to being a Bermuda Triangle, paranormal, science fiction, whatever kind of a story. And then it does take this twist at the end where it becomes very much sort of a Greek tragedy where you find out that she's locked in this afterlife, unable to escape because she is unable to accept the horrible things that she did in her life, which we become privy to at the end when we get back to the beginning of the movie. And it kind of, the loop starts over. We kind of realize that she was a piece of shit the whole time. And I really like that stuff. Like, it's only a few dropped lines early on about Sisyphus and Hades and all that kind of stuff. But once it comes back around, and like they introduce like the ferryman who's a taxi driver, and stuff like that. Like, that's fun. Like, for a long time in like high school, I was like really super into like Greek mythology. So like, I think that stuff's a lot of fun. And I think that adds another level to this. Like, if you just want to watch this as like a time loop movie, like that's like supernatural or science fiction, you can, but then, yeah, if you want to go into like deeper themes or like, I mean, not even that they're deeper, but like, it's like a different sort of trek you can go down when interpreting this movie, when you bring in Sisyphus and Orpheus and like all these kind of like the albatross or whatever it is, like I don't know. I just think that's super fun. I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and that stuff matches, this movie pretty well, just based on, the kind of ancient Greek connection to seafaring. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool to kind of combine, that ancient seafaring culture with like our, what's the modern version of that is like, well, cruise ships and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, that's Triangle, a movie I like a great deal. One of my favorite movies, I would say. I can't recommend this movie highly enough.
Tickle your ass with a feather.
But what about next week? What do we have in store, Sean Byron?
Well, next week, I think we're probably taking a summer vacation, right?
Yes.
Things have been heating up here at JFD headquarters. And I got to be honest with you, I'm too sweaty. I'm too sweaty to podcast right now. And I anticipate in a full week from now, I'm still going to be too sweaty. And so if I don't take a week off podcasting, I don't know what's going to happen. You would think, me almost dying of COVID would have prompted me to take some time off. But no, it's just I don't like my armpits to be moist.
That's perfectly understandable.
But the following week, we will be back. I think it'll just be me and you. I don't think Kevin's going to be there for that one. And we'll be talking about a little movie from 1978, directed by your homeboy, not Shinji, but Kinji Fukasaku, the guy that did Battle Royale and Battles Without Honor and Humanity and all those Yakuza movies. He did a movie in 1978 called Message from Space, starring Sonny Chiba and Vic Morrow, among other people. Okay. It was the most expensive Japanese movie ever made at the time, and is a shameless ripoff of Star Wars.
Okay.
So that sounds fun, right? Like a high-budget Japanese Star Wars from 1978 with Sonny Chiba and Vic Morrow. What could go wrong?
What could go wrong with a Vic Morrow movie?
Nothing could ever go wrong on a set where Vic Morrow is currently enlisted as an actor.
I anticipate everybody being safe and sound by the end of this movie.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. All
Okay.
that stuff sounds good.
Yeah, message from space.
Okay. It's settled. It is settled.
I know that you're such a Star Wars man, so I figured you've seen all these Star Wars. You've seen them multiple times. You've risen with these Skywalkers so many times.
Mhm.
Now it's time to respect the Japanese Jedi of this country.
Okay. I bet this Star Wars will be a lot better since it's not woke. Am I right?
Yeah, I think you are right. There's probably not even a single speaking role for a woman in this entire thing. And that's how we like it.
That's the perfect recipe for a Star War. Well, that's what we're doing next week. In the meantime, send us voicemails at 347-746-JUNK. That's 5865. Find us in the Discord where we're talking about things all the time, talking about movies, talking about baseball, talking about Music League.
Yeah, recommending crust options at Little Caesars. We'll do that for you.
Yeah, that pretzel crust. That's good.
I was so close last night. My finger was hovering above pretzel crust. Gotta be honest with you, I shifted that finger down slightly, went for stuffed crazy bread crust.
Nah, you don't want that. You want the pretzel crust. It's so good.
I've still never tried it.
The salt really complements the cheese.
You getting the cheese sauce on that pretzel crust, or you're doing the traditional tomato sauce?
I like the marinara sauce more, but I'll get that cheese sauce as well. That's also good.
There's a lot of options over there at Little Squeezers.
Absolutely. Also, if you're hearing this, you probably have a little time to get in the Discord and join the next Music League. I have it on good authority that it's going to start this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to start, well, from when we're recording right now, it'll start in about 5 days or so. So by the time that you hear this, probably just a couple days left.
Yeah, get in there. Find out what the fuss is all about. We're having fun. We're picking all kinds of fun songs.
Yeah, and the next round, devil free. No devils.
Yeah.
That's a guarantee.
This last round had a lot of devils in it.
Yeah, too many devils.
Yeah, I think we brought something forth from another dimension.
Yeah, we were submitting Sumerian texts to Spotify, which that was a mistake.
Absolutely.
We all know that the only way to experience Sumerian text is on pressed vinyl records in your basement.
I agree.
What the fuck were they thinking with that movie?
Also, and perhaps most importantly, you can go to patreon.com/junkfooddinner, donate a few dollars. If you donate $5, you can listen to a thing called The Bookhouse Boys, which is a podcast me and Sean do where we review every single episode of Twin Peaks, which is the greatest TV show ever made. And we only have 2 episodes left until we get to the finale of season 3. So those are probably going to be posted here in like the next week or so. And it's a doozy. There's a lot of revelations. Who killed Laura Palmer? We finally find the truth. So
Hell yeah.
So listen along, watch along with us. It's been quite the adventure for me. So partake in that with me. And then also, once you've finished season 3 of Twin Peaks, you may understand the movie Triangle a little bit better. I think that also is worth something. So check that out. We'll be back in a couple of weeks. Until then, this is Parker for Sean saying thanks for having fun.